morning and welcome to the 13 Colonies Connection to the Reasons Why We're Leaving News on Channel 2. I'm Hannah Baker. Mayor.
And I'm Emily Rogel. On today's show, we will be commemorating the lives lost at the tragic events that occurred in the city of Boston 3 years ago.
March 5th, 1770, 5 colonists were murdered by British troops after growing tensions arose between the two sides.
The British soldiers, led by Captain Thomas Preston, were met by a large and taunting crowd of colonial civilians. Captain Preston was unable to diminish the crowd, and as they chanted, "Fire and be damned," he ordered his troops not to do so.
With all the commotion and noise, it's most likely the soldiers did not hear his orders and opened fire on the crowd. 3 were killed instantly, and 2 more later on.
As we look back from today, it's easy to piece together the events that led up to this tragedy. The major role in creating the tensions demonstrated during the massacre was the passing of the Townshend Acts, as well as various others, such as the Stamp Act.
These acts imposed unfair taxes on the colonists on items such as paper, glass, and tea, all of which seemed to be common goods. Tensions rose even higher when British troops were sent to maintain order in the city prior to the killing.
Let's take a look at live footage caught from the scene only 3 years ago. The trials of Captain Preston and the British soldiers were held 7 months after the event in order to let emotions die down.
I think it's safe to say that these events will go down in history.
I concur.
Now let's look at an interview with a victim of these tragedies, who is still recovering from their injuries, unfortunately.
Hello, I'm Nicole Brodowski. 3 years ago, the Boston Massacre occurred, and we're here to talk with an injured person from the event. Hello.
Hello.
Can you tell me what happened that night in Boston?
That night there was a riot, and many civilians were in the streets, and the British soldiers overreacted and started firing their guns and throwing things out into the crowd, injuring many.
Wow, that's insane. Can you tell me a little bit more about, the reason that it happened?
I feel many of the colonists were unhappy that the soldiers took advantage of them, and when we let them into their homes, and there was many acts passed by the British that they disliked.
Right. Can you give me a reason, why were you in town that night?
I was in town because I was going to pay my taxes and buy my highly taxed tea. I was just being a simple Englishman enjoying their rights.
Can you tell me about your injuries? What happened, to you that night specifically?
I was bashed in the head with a rock, and 3 bullets skimmed me in my shoulders and neck, leaving me with fatal injuries.
Wow. Can you tell me, how the recovery process has been?
It has been long and hard, very painful. I'm on this lovely medication. It makes me feel a little better.
That's good. Oh, well, I'm glad to see that you're doing a little better than the night of. This has been Nicole Brodowski on 13 Colonies Connections to the Reasons Why We're Leaving News on Channel 2. Thank you. Do you ever make mistakes?
Yeah.
Do you know that you can't erase them?
Yeah, I know.
Well, now you can, with the new rubber eraser.
What are those?
Try it out. Just rub it on the paper and voila.
Whoa! Thanks, mister.
We can't erase your birth, but we can erase your lead misfortunes. The rubber eraser. Mistakes are in the past.
Support your mother country. Pay your taxes. We do nearly everything for you, from protecting you to giving you almost everything you have. So is it really so much to pay a little bit extra for some tea? Remember your heritage. Was that so hard?
And we're back back to you here at 13CCttRWWL News on Channel 2.
All right, looks like we're receiving a news report on some breaking news.
Yes, I concur.
The Boston Harbor has had some suspicious activity last night that should probably interrupt our regularly scheduled program.
All right, let me cancel the segment with up-and-coming designer Betsy Ross. Okay, so it seems that last night there was property damage to a ship containing tea.
Well, why would someone want to hurt tea?
Our sources are telling us it was an attack by Indians.
I thought we called them Native Americans.
Or is it American Indians?
Anyways, allegedly these indigenous people decided to throw tea from Britain into the harbor.
While we are waiting on our reporter to be on the scene to provide clarification on the scene, here's a reenactment.
Now here we have Kristen reporting to you live from the Boston Harbor to provide some insight on the situation.
Thank you, Hannah and Emily. Hello, this is Kristen Ellers reporting live from Griffin's Wharf on the Boston Harbor. We are at the harbor, the scene of last night's incident, now being called the Boston Tea Party. A group of men raided British East India Company ships, the Eleanor, the Dartmouth, and the Beaver. 342 chests of Chinese bohea tea, or commonly known as black tea, were thrown into the harbor. It is unknown the number of men who participated in the raid, for estimates range from 30 to 130. But it is now known that they were colonists, only disguised as Mohawk Indians. It is believed that they are members of the Sons of Liberty, protesting the revised Townshend Revenue Act in combination with the Tea Act. The Townshend Acts were altered from taxing everything, glass, paper, paint, and other goods, to taxing only tea. Meanwhile, the Tea Act allows the British East India Company to trade tea without paying taxes, unlike colonial merchants. We have yet to hear from Britain, but it is likely to be unpleasant for the colonies.
Yeah. Okay. Here we have an interview of someone who claims they were part of the attacks on the Boston Harbor.
This should be interesting.
What did you do?
We threw all of Britain's precious tea in the harbor. You know, it's all in there, all in the water, just sinking and, making some tea out of the harbor. We just got a nice giant teacup called the Boston Harbor. All right?
Why did you do this?
Because we were tired of paying for this tax on tea. We're supposed to have these equal rights, the rights of an Englishman, and yet we get taxed without any representation. It's not fair.
Which acts in specific are you against?
The Townshend Act and the Tea Act. Just to name two.
Why did you dress up as Indians?
Because as a Native American, the British weren't gonna persecute me,
Right now we have Thomas Hutchinson doing a live press conference. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Tom! What can you tell us?
I can't believe they've done this. These damn patriots just couldn't handle paying a couple cents more for their tea. What's the big deal? So they go and they throw all this tea overboard. This tons of money out the window. The Brits should really crack down after this.
Tom, Mr. Hutchinson, what can you tell us? Have the British made an official statement?
Yes, the Boston Harbor will be shut down until the colonists have paid for the 342 chests of tea that were thrown overboard and destroyed.
Do we have any confirmation from the investigative sources if there were Native Americans or colonists?
What were the motives of the suspects?
Well, it has been confirmed that it was the colonists and not the Native Americans, and their motives were that they did not fully appreciate what their mother country was offering them, the protection and everything else that they have.
Mr. Hutchinson!
We have no further information at this point. No more further comments. This press conference is over.
No.
tuning into 13CCttRWWL News on Channel 2.
It is our pleasure, as always, to bring equality here at 13 Colonies Connection to the Reasons Why We're Leaving News on Channel 2.
This is Emily Rogel.
And this is Hannah Big, damn it, Mayor, signing off.
Stay revolutionary.
Cut.
Oh my god!
Tom has nothing. Do you have any special talents?
Well, actually, on the low, I'm a country singer. Here, I'll give you a sample. Better lock them doors and turn the lights down low.
What? Oh. Haters were doubting me. Okay,
It's gonna be 250.
The British soldier.
let's just leave off
Yeah,
the British
just keep
shoulders. Retract.
Emily.
Fine.
The British soldiers and the British soldiers were.
You said shoulders. You said shoulders.
And the British soldiers.
Okay, quiet on deck.
On deck. And action. Yeah, honestly.
Wait, restart. I started cursing.
Ave Maria.
Pick it up. Shoot. I got some clean snuffs here. I always keep my shoes clean, except for my Timbs.
So
Those
are
I
we
get
starting
purposely
over,
dirty
or
so
are we
that they
just
look like
starting-
actual work boots. Except for sometimes I do work in them. So.
Walk louder.
All right, start again.
What a beautiful dream.
Oh yeah.
See, what's your phone does this person?
I really didn't like that. Oh no, we lost 2 of the pages.
Hannah's having a panic attack.
It's in my hand.
Oh god.
Okay.